Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a great December. This is going to be my last video of this year in 2026. I've just watched Kate Howe's video for her hopes and dreams for next year, and Emily from Waldman Reed's hopes and dreams for next year as well. So I'm very inspired at the moment. I've got a Christmas tea in my mug right here, my Christmas mug. This one is by a small French business. They only ship in France, unfortunately. But a small French business, and this one's a Christmas tea which has got a robust base. It's got orange, mandarin, cinnamon, cloves and cardamom. It's really good and really warming as well, which is great because it's absolutely freezing over here. It's been freezing in Paris. Actually snowed on Christmas Day. I was away on holiday at my mother-in-law's house who lives by the seaside, and it snowed over there on Christmas Day, which was very worrying actually because we were driving back home. But anyway, we're safe now, so that's great. I made a whole list of everything I'm anticipating and looking forward to next year. So let's go. We've got a lot to go through. I've got 3 categories, books, well 4, book series, authors, specialist subjects and TV shows. So in terms of book series, in historical mystery, these are all of the series that I'm still reading. So I'm still actively reading. I want to finish them one day. I want to be caught up on everything that's been released so far. So yeah, I'm invested. In historical mystery, the Maisie Dobbs series, interwar years, psychologist, nurse, female heroine, female detective, amateur detective, although she's a professional detective, I suppose, in the books, so I shouldn't say amateur at all, actually. But Maisie Dobbs, yeah, I've read 5 out of 18, it's not too bad. Sebastian St Cyr, Regency England, aristocrat, very samey, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Also lots of details about the history of the period, but since it's a very small period of time, there are lots of details which are 2 weeks apart, 1 month apart. It's a very compact series. I've read 8 out of 20. This is Dalrymple, a flapper in the 1920s. She's high society, so she's investigating mysteries which happen in the upper classes, and the only reason she's doing that is because she's actually a journalist for Town and Country, so she has access to all of these estates, all of these echelons of society which very few people have access to because of her upbringing. Stella, not too many historical details, unfortunately. Stella and Lyndy, I've only read 1 so far, but actually I've read 2 so far, but they were really good. I've read the first and the last, the first and the latest, I should say, book in the series, because the latest was an arc on that galley, and the first I read by myself. Very good, about horses, about a gilded age heiress really coming to Edward in England, so not really gilded age, but coming to Edward in England to be married to an English aristocrat. She's got money, he's got a title, and they really enter into an arranged marriage, but it goes really well, and they've got horses, and she is very feisty, and I really like Stella. I'm really looking forward to reading more. Phryne Fisher, I love the TV show. I'm a huge devotee of the TV show, and it's got the 3 seasons and a film afterwards, that kind of wrapped it up. But the books I haven't read in the entirety. I haven't read the entire series. I've read 3 so far. The writing is a little strange, but I still want to go on. It mixes very important topics and very violent topics, very heavy topics, with very light things as well, and mixed light of very strange things sometimes. So the tone of the books is not consistent, and the tone of the books really bothers me sometimes, but I still want to go on because Phryne is one of my absolute favourite heroines. I still want to read the source material of the TV show. Lady Darby, Victorian England, she's an artist. These are quite dark, and they really focus on very specific things about death, and these are quite dark, also quite samey, and not a lot of historical detail, but still enough to keep me going. So Lady Darby, I've read 4 out of 13. Lady Sherlock series, I've read 7 out of 8, so I have no excuse. I haven't read A Ruse of Shadows. These are very samey. They are about Charlotte, who is it's kind of well, I wouldn't say a parody, but it's kind of a rip-off of Sherlock Holmes. She's a female heroine, she's a female detective, she's incredibly intellectual, incredibly smart and clever. She has an affair with a married man over the course of several books, which was a little strange because I didn't really know whether or not to root for them. I wanted to, but are they doomed? I mean, I don't know. And the plot is also very samey. There is a lot of Moriarty in each book, and you need to read them in order, absolutely, because they are, again, very samey and very connected to the previous books. The Jane Austen Mysteries by Stephanie Barron, starring Jane Austen. These are very unique in that they star Jane Austen, and I have read a few other books which star an author as a detective, and they are kind of hit or miss. This one is more of a hit, I would say, in terms of immersion into the era. There are lots of details about the Regency era, which even I didn't know about, and there are lots of details about Jane Austen's life as well. So in that respect, the author really did her research. These are really, really a treat to read in that respect. However, I think the plots are a little light, and they're really it depends on the book, really, so they're not very consistent, but the amount of details in terms of history and in terms of biographical details are really there, and that's why I keep going. And I'm current, but I'm looking forward to the next books in the following series. Veronica Speedwell, I think the next one is coming out in March, and I can't wait, even though I kind of I agree with Storm Reads from the channel Storm Reads, from Storm from the channel Storm Reads. It used to be my favourite historical mystery series, along with the Charles Lennox series, but I think the latest books have really had challenges for the main couple which had no business being there. It was a bit strange. So after establishing the couple for several books, having them be a little bit estranged was odd. And yes, I also think that the books were a little lighter at the beginning, and they have become darker as time goes on. So I'm still rooting for her, and I still love this series, but not as much as I used to. I still want to catch up on the ones which are currently being released. Beatrice Hyde-Clare, the latest installment, has just been released, focuses on a secondary character in the series. These are Regency, I should have said before actually, Veronica Speedwell was Victorian era, female detective, also a romance is very much central to the book, and Beatrice Hyde-Clare, same thing but in Regency, and she's very much a wallflower for the beginning, for the first few books. So she's a spinster, nobody has much hope for her, and one day things happen and she meets people, and she encounters a whole new life and a whole new purpose and a whole new set of people. I really like it. I like it. It's set in Regency, same. I think it's a little bit samey. I don't think the plots are the best. The immersion is, again, they are not enough historical detail for me, but I still enjoy it when they come out. And the latest installment has been focusing on the secondary character in the books being the detective. So it's not Beatrice anymore being the detective, but somebody else. And I really enjoyed that, actually. I really enjoyed a little bit of a whimsy and a little bit of novelty. Charles Lennox Mysteries, of course, my favourite series ever. The Hidden City, I read, and it's just been released in November. It's the latest installment. There are more coming, so please keep them coming. I love these books so much. There are about 1 or 2 years between each book, so yeah, the next one is going to come out in a long time, but I'm still waiting for it eagerly. I love these books so much. They are very immersive. There are tons of historical details about the Victorian era in these books. They are very cozy scenes. I love it when the authors really take time to describe scenes where all the characters are happy together after an investigation, and Charles Finch, who writes those books, really does that really well. The Lady Hardcastle series, which is one of my absolute favourite series ever, absolutely wonderful. I love these books so much about an aristocrat and her employee. They are best friends and they investigate together in the countryside. These are very humorous books and very witty. The writing is very much unique, and I love them for that. There aren't a ton of historical detail, but the writing is really what makes these books. I think the dialogues are impeccable and very much quotable. I love them for that. And finally, Her Royal Spyness. I'm almost current actually with the series. I've read all of them except the latest one, which is From Cradle to Grave. I bought it on release day, but I haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. It's a bit of a light novel, I suppose. These take place mostly in the 1930s, and we have reached right now we are just before World War II, and the consequences really of World War II and the abdication, I should say, and then World War II. These are very light on historical detail, although their uniqueness, I suppose, is that the heroine is actually a very distant member of the royal family. So we do get a lot of royal gossip and a royal insight, I suppose, and that's really good, I think. Also, in some of the books, she meets very famous people as well, very famous people who actually were real in real life. So that was interesting as well. That was an interesting point about this series. Moving on to Golden Age Mystery, years ago, I almost finished all of the books by Josephine Tey, but I haven't quite. So I've got quite a few left. So I'm rereading all of them. So I've reread 2. I reread Miss Pym Disposes and Brett Farrow this year. I've got 6 left to go. She's got 8 books out, I think. So I'm going to reread them and read the ones I haven't read yet. I love her. She's a very psychological writer in the Golden Age. So Agatha Christie, Dorothea Sayers were her friends and her peers, and she's a very psychological writer. I think her writing is very twisty and not so much about the investigation as it is about analysing people, and I think she's very good at that, and her writing is very unique, I think, in this group of writers. They each have their own specific niche of Golden Age mystery writing, and yeah, I think she's a very psychological writer. I've also tried, well, I'm also endeavouring to reread all of Agatha Christie. I have read all of the Poirot books, I have read all of the Miss Marple books years ago, and I'm currently rereading them all over again, so it's been a huge treat. And I'm also rewatching the adaptations that I can find my hands on, and yeah, it's been a treat, honestly. Miss Marple, I've read 9 out of 13, which is incredible. I've actually done something a bit different this year. I read them on audio, so I listened to them, read by Emilia Fox, and she's gorgeous. She's a wonderful narrator. She was also in Ballet Shoes. She was Sylvia in Ballet Shoes. But yeah, I listened to 9 out of 13, and Poirot, I'm reading them actually in my omnibuses editions, these, which I've shown in my channel before. So I'm reading them in this edition right here, and I have read 11 out of 44, so I've got a long way to go, but these are such a treat. Honestly, I love them so much, and I want to be as familiar with them as possible, so I'm just rereading them on a loop pretty much. So when I'm done, I'm just going to go back to the beginning as well. I've never read the short stories either for Miss Marple or Poirot, so I should go read them at some point after reading the novels. In historical romance, I've only got 1. I'm in the middle of M.M. Lyon, and I've read 6 out of 8. I have been a bit disappointed by the latest 2 books, I think. Yeah, so I'm not too eager, I suppose, to continue. I want to continue the series, however, because it's been such an investment and such a slow burn, and these are novella length books. Some of them are closer to book length, to novel length, but these are mostly novella length books, and it's been 6 books with a lot of things, a lot of really lovely things happening as well, and very quotable writing as well. It's very good. I love Emma as a heroine, but it's been a long slow burn, and I'm eager for things to happen. I'm just waiting for things to happen, and I hope they happen a little bit faster, I suppose, in the next 2 books. In historical fantasy, I've got a few. The Bamar novels by Gail Carson-Levine. I read Two Princesses of Bamar this year, which was such a treat. Gail Carson-Levine is a wonderful historical fantasy writer who writes, or used to write, I'm not sure she's still writing, YA and middle grade novels, which are very inspired by fairy tales and fairy tale retellings. The Two Princesses of Bamar stars 2 sisters who each have their own, each of them has her own strengths, and they are very different, and one of them has to save the other at some point and travel the kingdom. It's a very good book. It's a very sweet romance as well. All of her books have very sweet elements to them. She's a writer that I really want to complete everything she's written by, because she's very much a treat. She hasn't written a novel which I think is one of my favorites, but I always enjoy them very much. So yeah, she's a 5-star author with 4-star books, if that makes sense. The books of Barron, I reread. My God, I read them years ago. I reread them years ago as well, by Shannon Hill. These are, the first one, for example, is called Goose Girl, and there are 4 books total, and they are very much forest fantasy, fairy tale retellings, princesses at court, and court in general. Really, it's I just absolutely love those books. And The Goose Girls, the first one, is one of my favourite books ever. I reread it this year and I wanted to finish the series. The other three are not favourites, I would say, but they still have favourite elements to them as well. So I'm eager to reread them very much. The second book is a bit darker though, so I'm a little bit anxious to reread that, even though it actually stars one of my favourite characters. Anyway, the Maud arc of the Discworld novels by Terry Pratchett. So the Discworld novels are plenty, and it stars lots of different characters. One of them is Maud, Death, and Maud has got 5 novels. I've read the first one. One of the ways to read this quite, I suppose, is to focus on one character in particular, and I personally focus on, at the moment I'm focusing on Death, and it's got 5 books and I'm just read the first one. I have read The Hogfather a long time ago. I can't remember anything about it, so let's just go back to the beginning. I've reread Maud recently, so I would like to go on. I've got 4 left. Timeless Fairy Tales by K.M. Shea, self-explanatory, I think. The first one focused on retelling Beauty and the Beast. It was very sweet, very light fairy tale retelling. Not a 5-star read, but very much a 4-star read. It was very good, and I'm looking forward to the rest. I've got 5 more left to go. The Secrets of Ormdale, I'm not too sure about. Christina Bear, it was a little bit dark for me. This one is about a young girl who arrives to an estate with her whole family, and it's a family estate and secrets are everywhere. It's kind of a gothic element to it as well, and it's got dragons, it's got magic, it's got family secrets. It was a bit unsettling at times, I suppose. There was a cave scene which I find very unsettling, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to finishing the series anyway, because I saw that Miriam from Miriam Elizabeth Reads actually recommended the series, first of all, so she likes it, which is a good point in its favour. And a new series, which is a spin-off of this series, actually has just started, and it takes place in the Gilded Age. So I want to read that one, and at the very beginning I actually purchased it on my Kindle, and at the very beginning the foreword has the author warn you that you can't start the Gilded Age series without having read this Edwardian one. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of the Gilded Age, and I just can't wait to read that one, so I have to get through the Secrets of Ormdale first. I know that a lot of people say that the first book is not the best one, so I'm crossing my fingers that the next books are a bit different and a bit lighter and a bit more whimsical, I suppose, which is what I want in my fantasy. And I am current with the Saint of Steel series by T. Kingfisher, but of course, if she decides to release something tomorrow, I'll be the first one to purchase it, because I love this series so much, about paladins who have lost their gods and who are paired up with their soulmate with each book. So it focuses on a different couple with each book, and it's got a huge mystery, overarching mystery, and also one mystery per book. So it's very much a historical mystery, cozy fantasy sort of thing. It's got unsettling elements, I suppose, paired up with very cozy scenes, very full of food and friendship and warmth, and she's a very special author. I've talked about her before. In Cozy Mystery, I am still reading the Shady Hollow series, which stars anthropomorphic animals in forest, so very unique mystery series. I've read 2 out of 6. It's not a priority, I would say, because it's a very it has whimsical elements, it has fantastical elements to it because of the animals, but it's not as rich as I would have hoped, and there are not as many descriptions of the forests and of the woodland animals as I would have hoped. So not a priority, but still enjoyable. The Coffee House mystery series, which I've read 6 books out of 21. This one is by Cleo Coyle, and this is such a weird series actually, because I hate coffee. I've never drunk coffee. I never drink coffee. I hate it. I hate the taste of coffee. I love the smell of coffee though. This one is all about a coffee shop in New York. I live in Paris. I've lived in Paris my entire life, and I don't really want to read about a capital city, especially in my cozy mysteries. It's too anxiety inducing. It's too much. I read to escape. I read to read about the countryside, about faraway places, not the city, not the bustling, the city, the capital city. this one is set in New York and it's about a coffee shop. What really saves it for me is that the writing is incredible, and the amount of detail about the coffee industry, about the food, about pastries, about the restaurant industry is excellent, truly excellent. I always learn something when I read those books, and somehow it manages to make New York cozy, which but yes, even though it's got really darker elements as well. For example, in one of the books there is a whole subplot about the mafia. I mean, it's got really dark elements, but it's really, I think the knowledge the author has of the coffee business and of coffee culture and of New York makes you want, first of all, to visit New York, and it's a really good, actually it's a really good advertisement for New York, and it makes you want to drink coffee. So it's a really special series, I think, and if you love coffee and if you love New York, you'll be all over it. I think it's just a really, really good series, actually. Even though, once again, it's not, on paper, it wouldn't be my favourite, but it's a really good series. I love it. Sister Jane, which I read only 1 out of 17, and actually I've read 2? No, I read only 1 out of 17. It was an ARC copy. I kind of hesitate to go on with this one, actually, because it takes place, the setting is the fox hunting subset of Virginia in America, and I didn't know that going in, so it was a bit weird at first. I wasn't sure what was going on when I requested the ARC. The writing is really good, the dialogue is really funny, the relationship between the characters is very warm. I enjoyed all of that. The fox hunting thing I'm not too sure about, but the relationship that the characters have with the animals is very endearing, I find. And yeah, but it's a very, I'm not sure about the series, honestly, but the writing is really, really good. It's by May Brown, and she's a very seasoned writer, and you can tell, actually. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this series. I would say I'm intrigued. And I'm current with the Big Shot Mystery series, of course, by Ellie Alexander, which is my favorite Cosy Mystery series ever, and the Flower Shop Mystery series by Nancy Warren. And I know that they are still publishing books, thank God, in those series, so yeah, I can't wait for the next books, but I'm current with them. The Flower Shop Mystery series by Nancy Warren is actually one of my favourite series by her. She's a very prolific Cosy Mystery writer, or she used to be. She's got quite a few series. I've read most of them, and this one is one of my favourites. So it takes place, of course, in a flower shop, so in England, I think. So it's very, very good. You learn a lot about flowers reading it, for sure. In the cozy vintage category, I've got the Barsetshire books by Angela Thirkell. She has published 33 books and I've read 5. It is so, so good. These are vintage fun. So just eccentric English village and eccentric characters in the English village. Each book focuses on one character in particular, and all of the characters who you met before are kind of secondary characters because they all live in the same place. These are so good, honestly. Some of them are better than others, but I always find they're very, very comforting and very soothing. So excellent, and I can't wait to read them all. The Betsy Tacy books, I kind of stopped there because there are, I think, 10 books in the series, and I've read the first 3. I've got a treasury on my Kindle of the first 4 books, and I've got multiple. I splashed tea all over myself. It's fine. It's fine. That was bound to happen. So I've read the first 3, and I've got one more in my bind-up book on my Kindle. What stopped me really from binge reading the first 4 books in the bind-up is that they are very young in these books, and the stories are readable, but I wouldn't say they are huge favourites, and I was in no hurry really to finish them. So I know that they grow up in the next books, and I know that the next books are what people refer to when they say that these are their favourite books. So I just have to read the 4th book and perhaps the 5th and 6th, I don't know, before I get to the good part, I suppose. I don't know. They're okay, they're just a little bit, they're very much children's books at this point, and yeah, so not quite favourites yet, but definitely favourite passages and favourite quotes, definitely. Some really lovely things happening in those books. It's really tell friendship in the at the beginning of the 20th century, maybe. And the Babysitter's Club, I've read 25 out of 131, which is astronomical. But I've read 25 books. I'm taking my time with them. I don't want them to finish ever. The Babysitter's Club was actually the movie, I think the 1994 movie, was my favourite growing up, one of my absolute favourite movies growing up. I would watch it on repeat on VHS. So yeah, and I have never read the books actually. I have never read the books. This is my first time reading them all, and I'm just savouring them so much. They are frankly like friends to me, like family to me. So, and in terms of ballet books, I love ballet novels, especially series, especially aimed at young girls. I can't find that many of them, so this is a subcategory of books which I really need to do a lot of research on, because I have a hard time finding books in that category. Maybe there aren't that many published, I don't know. There seem to be so many pony books, which I absolutely adore as well. So where are the ballet books? I just found, kind of by accident, but really through Miranda Mills, Lorna Hill, who is she was a writer of ballet stories, and she wrote the Sadler's Wells series of ballet books focusing on young girls just wanting to be ballerinas and their trials and tribulations. They're also kind of country novels as well, and they've got family elements to them, friendship elements to them. Really wonderful career books, but with so much. They have also a dreamy quality to them as well. The writing is gorgeous. The first two books, A Dream of Sadler's Wells and Veronica at the Wells, are some of my favourite books ever, and I just found out about them a couple of years ago, I think, and I've been slowly collecting them. So they're completely out of print now, and I've been slowly collecting them. So the first two books, A Dream of Sadler's Wells and Veronica at the Wells, I bought them secondhand in the bind-up, and the next three books were published by Girls Gone By, and I was lucky enough to purchase a copy of them. So I've got three of them new and two secondhand, and I'm just I'm slowly collecting the rest of them. There are 14 total, so I've got quite a long way to go, and my dream would be to have the original editions with the hardcovers, and they're beautiful actually. And I saw pictures online of people who have the entire collection in hardcover first editions, and they look absolutely gorgeous on the shelves, and that would be my dream, honestly. But yeah, so far I just have to track them down and read them. That would be the goal. I love them so much. They are such a treat. And in small town romance, I'm not too sure about continuing with this series, but why not? It's a Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I've read 2 out of 5, and this was kind of my next series after loving the Lucy Score series, Bootleg Springs, which was a contemporary romance series set in a small town. This one was also set in a small town, and I really enjoyed the first 2 books, but I need to be in a very specific mood for small town romance, small town contemporary romance. I need to be in a very specific mood, so I don't know when I'll be in the mood exactly. So. In terms of authors, last year I talked about my goals for this year, and I talked about authors that I would like to focus on. My list really hasn't changed. These are authors who I really want to focus on, who are authors that I'm really interested in, and I would like to read as much of them as possible. I have made some progress this year, but I have not completed any of these authors yet. So let's talk about them briefly now. So Agatha Christie, of course, P.G. Wodehouse, I'd like to read all of his books. Charles Dickens, I've read, last year I read Our Mutual Friend. So far I've read Our Mutual Friend, Bleak House and A Christmas Carol, and I would like to read the rest of it. Actually, it's so funny because before filming this video, I received Slightly Fox newsletter, and they talked about, they had an extract of an essay by a woman who one year decided to read all of Charles Dickens' novels in 1 year, and I read the essay, which was so interesting and so funny as well. And they always tend to be both funny and interesting, Slightly Fox essays. And yeah, I thought, is this a sign? Just before filming this video, I just received that, and I thought, well, is this a sign to read more Dickens? I don't know. Bleak House was really good, but because I'm so familiar with the adaptation, I watched every year, sometimes several times a year, and A Christmas Carol was really good as well. Same, I'm very familiar with a couple of adaptations, especially the Muppet Christmas Carol adaptation and a Mickey's Christmas Carol, which I watch every year. It's a 25-minute movie. If you haven't seen it, Mickey's Christmas Carol, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite things ever. So I watched it every year at Christmas. And yeah, so I don't know if there was a sign or not, but definitely I want to read more Dickens. Anthony Trollope, I've read The Warden, I have read The Way We Live Now, and I have read something else. The Warden and The Way We Live Now, definitely. Dr. Waters' Call last year. All of them were good. All of them were good, and he has a quality to his writing. His writing is very descriptive and very domestic, and I think that he writes for me. So some of it is really scenes which I really deeply enjoy. So I definitely want to read more by him, especially the rest of the Barchester books. Georgette Hare, I've read a few of her books this year. I really want to read more, and all of her books, definitely. She's one of my favourite writers. Jane Austen, I want to reread her all over again. And Noah Stratfield, always rereading her. Sherlock Holmes, I have never read the Sherlock Holmes books, novels or short stories. I've just started the Jeremy Brett adaptations on Granada from 1984 to 1994, I think, and I'm just binge watching that. It's such a treat, and I really wanted to read the stories now. After watching the adaptation then. Terry Pratchett, I want to read all of the Discworld books. Patrick O'Brien, I read Master and Commander, I think 2 years ago, and I haven't read anything by him since, and I really want to make some progress in his series because it was so intriguing. I didn't understand everything that was going on because it's a very naval setting, so it's set on a ship and at sea, and there are lots of sea terms and lots of sea action and lots of sea activities. But there was a quality to his writing which made you want to go on, I think, which is a treat, really. I can count on one hand the books which I didn't understand fully, which lost me a little bit, but I still finished them because they had something which made me really invested, and this is one of them. So definitely. Miss Reed, I want to reread her. I've read the Fairacre books years ago and I haven't read her since. Barbara Pym, I want to read more by her. D. Stevenson, I still want to be able to read more by her. I have read a few of her books this year, which were, some of them were good and some of them I had to DNF, so mixed bag. Dorothy L. Sayers, definitely want to reread her, all of her. Josephine Tey and Lucy Wood Montgomery. I have read Anne of Green Gables, I have read The Blue Castle, and I think that's it. And I would like to read the rest of her books, definitely. And Mary Stuart, I reread Heirs Above the Ground this year, and I want to read the rest of her books really. So, and also do a ranking of them. Why not? I know that Kate Howe did that a few years ago, and that was a really good video to watch. Specialist subjects. So I want to be as much of an expert as possible on these things. Harry Potter, Fantasy of Manners books, witty and sweet Regency romances like Georgette Hare, Patricia Varian, Jane Smith and Barbara Metzger. I've read books by all of these authors this year and I loved them. Cozy English countryside books like Barbara Pym, D. Stevenson, Dean Street Press, Matt and Lucia, that sort of thing. I want to read desperately Darling Buds of May. Actually, I saw the newest TV show a few years ago when it was released, and I have never read the books and I really want to. Golden Age mysteries, immersive historical mysteries, Disney princesses. I'm currently watching all of the Disney princess films all over again. I'm always doing that, I'm always on the loop, but still, the new Snow White has been released on Disney Plus. I rewatched that. It's not a favourite, but I still appreciated the visuals. Fairy tale retellings, always looking for those. Forest fantasy with great heroines, always looking for those as well. And Hallmark films and screwball comedies. I am currently always, I've got a list of screwball comedies to watch and rewatch, and my goal one day is to make a video about all of those topics, at least one video and more on all of those topics. I made a Fantasy of Manners video this year, which was my favourite video to make all year actually, because it was a very long video to prepare, and I was very confident in my recommendations because I had reread the books very recently. In TV show to look forward to next year, 3 for me in particular: Bridgerton season 4, which will never match season 3 for me because season 3 has got my favourite couple ever, Penn and Colin. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to season 4, especially since we're going to see the next chapter in Penn and Colin's life. And When Calls the Heart, I am an Elizabeth Newton fan for life, so I can't wait to see what's next for them. The newest trailer, which dropped this morning, I think, I saw it this morning anyway, hinted at something happening for them very, very soon. So yes, fingers crossed. And Father Brown, of course. I'm always looking forward to the new series of Father Brown, and so much more, I'm sure, which I haven't written down. So yes, this was my video looking forward to 2026. I still have not picked my first read of the year. Last year, I started January off by rereading Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion. Wait, Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion, Northanger Abbey. Did I read Sense and Sensibility? I know I didn't read Emma or Mental Park. I can't remember. But I don't know what I'm going to read first this year. I usually start on December 31st. This way I have at least one book read by January 1st, which for me is a huge way to kick off the year. And yeah, I'm still not sure what I'm going to read actually. I've got a lot of options, and I'm still not sure what I'm going to read. Right now, I'm kind of in between state, and I'm just looking forward to January so much that I'm sort of frozen in time, really. I just can't focus on much really at the moment in terms of reading. So I have been purging a little bit my bookshelves. I want to have bookshelves which are completely pristine and only have my absolute favourite books, which I know by heart cover to cover. And this is a very small list, so I regularly look at my bookshelves and wonder whether all of the books are worthy of being on my bookshelves. And I did a little bit of an unhaul, which I filmed, but it was such a long video that I'm never going to post it. But yes, I unhauled a few books, and I'm just always kind of wondering if all of the books just belong here. Some of them are just completely favourites and they will always be here forever, as long as I have a library, but some of them I'm just wondering at the moment whether or not to keep them. So I'm trying to like read a little bit of each and see whether or not I'm going to keep it, but I'm in a bit of a restless state at the moment, which I don't know if any of you is in that state as well, but yeah, hanging in there. Yeah, so I'm just trying to focus on what I'm going to read first next year. And yeah, I've got a lot of personal goals as well for 2026, which I'm not talking about in this video obviously, but yes, just continuing my waltz classes, for example. My little word of the year is enrich, so I'm just focusing on that as well. Enrich would be good financially and just in my life in general, really. So yeah, lots of things going on, I suppose. I am so excited about the new year coming. I don't know why, but I'm just so refreshed at the moment. Having a holiday has been such a blessing. I've been off work actually since December 21st, something like that. Friday, December 20th, I think. And we had a bit of traveling to do. It's done now, and just really refreshed and recharged, and I'm just really enjoying my days and just looking forward to the future. So I hope you have lots of hope in your heart for the future. I hope you are safe and loved and happy where you are, and that you will be in the new year as well. And I can't wait to see you next year in January and celebrate a new beginning with all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I also would like to thank you so much if you actually arrived here recently. I've gained a lot of subscribers recently because Kid Howe and Amy from Amy of Hearth Ridge mentioned me in a video, which thank you so much. I always find filming to be really overwhelming. Well, not filming actually, but uploading and thinking that people are going to see what I say. It's just, I'm such an introvert really in real life, which I know it doesn't really show on camera, but I'm really an introvert, and it's a little bit overwhelming to think about sometimes. But so having the numbers grow is a little bit unsettling for me. It's a little strange and it's a little alarming, but thank you so much, honestly, if you're here at all. And yeah, I hope that you stick around. If you don't, that's completely fine as well. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye. But yes, thank you so much for being here and for watching my videos, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye.